Hello, YouTube community. I'm so excited. I am here with Barbara Huson, who is literally one of my favorite people on the planet. She is my mentor in all things A Course in Miracle and has become a beloved friend. Honestly, I feel like family. Barbara, I'm so excited that you're here and I'm excited for this conversation about miracles.
Me too. I thank you for having me. I always love to talk to you about the course. You're like hungry for it. You just love it.
So that is a good way to say it. Yeah, it was this a couple years ago when we started. I'll just to set the tone, and for those if you don't know, Barbara is a best-selling author. Barbara, you have so many books between Sacred Success, Rewire for Wealth. You have Overcoming Underearning. I know I'm missing some. I mean, you've got Prince Charming Isn't Coming. I mean, you've got like a list.
You're doing good. That was good.
I'm trying. There was one other I missed, but I fell in love with your work, and one of the things I remembered is how you wove in these teachings from A Course in Miracles. And I got to tell you, and if you're joining us, like let us know in the chat where you're joining from. We would love to know, because I see we've got quite a few people already joining live. We'd love to know. Put it in the chat. We see your comments, and we're going to have a chance for Q&A. It's going to be so fun. I just remember being so interested and so overwhelmed at the same time, like want to study it and also feeling like I don't know where to begin. It can feel very daunting, this course.
Totally intimidating. Absolutely intimidating.
Yes. This is why I'm so thankful to have this conversation today. We're going to talk about miracles made simple, unlocked, like literally start diving into it. You have an ebook that's free that there's a link in the description, everyone, where you can get it, Miracles Made Simple. And I know you have it with you. It's awesome. Anything Barbara writes is digestible. Yeah, Miracles Made Simple, and you get a free copy yourself. That's in the description. I already put it there. And you have a class coming up, which is just anyone and everyone should take it. So I see, Lisa. Hey, Lisa's in Des Moines. Awesome. Nice. And if you want to share where you're from, we'd love to know. So can you share just for a moment your like entree into the course? When did that happen? How did that happen? And how has it shifted your life?
Oh my God, it changed my life dramatically. So my life was falling apart. Usually people find the course when their life is in some degree of shambles, some degree. And I was married to a compulsive gambler who was losing a fortune of my inheritance. I didn't understand money. I couldn't stop him. He was, I was at my wit's end. And I kept going to the bank and he kept saying there's no money in our account. I didn't know what to do. And I thought, well, I was living in Kansas City. Let's move to San Francisco. And for some reason in my mind, I thought if I moved, the problem would be different. But the problem did become solved. We moved to San Francisco. And the first week we were there, this was 1982, I was standing in line at the grocery store. And the person behind me was talking about A Course in Miracles. And it caught my ear. And I leaned back and I said, "What's A Course in Miracles?" And she said, "I'm not sure. It's a book and I bought it right here." And she told me where. I knew I had to have that book. I had no idea what it was. And the fascinating part, it was being printed like 2 blocks from my home, in a house 2 blocks from my home. I bought that book. Actually, at the time, there were 3 books. Now those 3 books have been combined into 1 book. There was the text, the workbook, and there was the manual for teachers. I read that book like a thirsty lion. Like I couldn't get it enough. It was like a steak to a hungry lion. I couldn't get enough, and I couldn't understand most of it. But I just kept reading. I was just so hungry for its profound wisdom. I knew it was there. And that's how I found it. And I kept at it. And my life slowly, not immediately, but slowly began to change. And what I love about the course is it's a spiritual text. They call it a self-study spiritual text. But to me, it's even more. It is a manual in power. It is a manual, and it says your power comes from your mind. And it calls itself a course in mind training. So it helped me train my mind to think and see the world completely differently and to take my power back. And I did.
Oh, I love, love, love. To me, this is the antidote to when, we have chaos in the world. We have things happening in our life that feel out of control. When you said power, that just like lit up for me, right? And power, the kind of power, healthy, the power that can change our lives.
So I see there's three kinds of power. There's probably more. There's power over, which is very patriarchal, male. There's power with, which is more the feminine, collaboration. And then there's power within. And the problem with the power over and the power with, it depends on somebody or something external. But the power within is where our real power is.
Yeah. Beautiful. And that is a perfect segment into what we're going to be talking about, really looking at miracles made simple. I do want to give a shout out because I'm seeing we have Amy in Maine and Rose from Colorado. And if you're joining us, let us know where you are joining from. This is so fun, all over. So change your mind, change your life. And I have to say, any of your books and all of your books, first of all, I've gotten so much from each of them. They weave in, what I loved is how you bring in the course in what you're teaching. So miracles made simple. Let's start, because I think even level setting with what does a miracle mean, especially as it relates to the course, is probably a good place to start, because people have different definitions of it. And that's probably a good place for us to begin.
So according to A Course in Miracles, a miracle is an expression of love. That if you want to create miracles, if you want to create the unexpected, the mystical, what it entails is you shifting your state of mind from fear to love. And in that, because fear repels, it pushes away. Love attracts. Love is the highest vibration. Fear is the lowest. And so it's like we were created in God's image. God created us, and we have that same power. God gave us that same power to create also. And we created with a mind filled with love. And the purpose, the Course says, one of the main purposes of the Course is to remove all the barriers within ourselves to love's presence. My favorite quote is, ask not for love or ask not for anything you want, but seek and find within yourself the barriers you built against it. And I think that's what really started my journey to financial freedom, to freedom, period, is when I would say that all the time. What are the barriers within myself? What are the barriers within myself that are blocking love's presence, that are keeping me from my power, that are keeping me from understanding money?
That right there, we could just spend some time right there, because I always say, like attracts like. So anyone that's tuning in now or at any time, I am sure is going to resonate with what you just said. So you said something important. It is where are the barriers within you, within me, within us that are blocking love's existence? And maybe we can talk for a minute about how that relates to finances and money, because I think there's some that might say, what do you mean? How does that connect?
Because everything out there, everything, this is one of the kind of hard principles to grasp at the beginning. Everything out there is a reflection of our state of mind. So what you're seeing, we live in this reflective universe. Everything is a mirror. So what you're seeing out there, So if you're seeing lack and scarcity and your bank accounts going down and your debts going up, this is a reflection of your state of mind. And it refers not to just to money, it refers to health, it refers to relationships, it refers to everything. Nothing external exists. It is all a reflection of your state of mind. So you want to change the reality? You want more money? You want more success? You want more love? You shift your thinking. You start observing your thoughts and look how often you are in fear as opposed to love. Look how often your thoughts are what are creating your reality. The course calls, there's the law of, what is, I can't believe my mind just went blank, but the law of cause and effect. So to our world, we learned that what happens out there is what affects us in here. But that's Newtonian physics. But quantum physics tells us something very different. And the course tells us something very different. Our thoughts, what happens in here is what creates the world out there. So become an observer of your thoughts. And that's what I had to do. I became an observer of my thoughts and how my thoughts were keeping me from learning about money. It wasn't that money was so hard. It was my thoughts. Go on.
No, go ahead. I want to hear.
Keep going. No, you go on. I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, this is really, you said something I want to rewind for a minute because I don't want it to get lost. This mirror effect, of the universe we live in. Understanding, and I can hear you in my head having talked and worked with you for a long time, all the time, understanding that our inner mental state, consciousness, we will see that out in front. And rather, I know for me, sometimes it's brought up worry or anger or fear. What I love that you just said is get curious, get interested. I could even hear you say it's a gift because you're seeing it. You're seeing, and this can happen with challenging situations and relationships. And I think talking about this for a minute, the mirror effect and I know the course, I mean, this is like, I feel like it says it 5,000 times in 5,000 different ways. What those thoughts are, what we're perceiving is going to be, that's what we're going to see. And you're talking about finances right now. So that's really an important concept that I think can get lost very easily.
Yeah. But it applies to everything. Yeah. Absolutely everything. Like it's really helped my relationship with my husband. I'll get mad at him for doing something, but then I'll remind myself, wait, if he's a reflection of me, what is he showing me that's going on inside me? So what it does is it becomes every challenge because of an opportunity for growth. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to change and become a better person yourself. So it's really a transformational experience that puts you in charge, and it takes you completely out of victim, because every time you blame something out there for how you feel, you're a victim. And this takes you out of that.
I love this so much because going back to power, and I think of the word empowered, it's the name of my business, actually. It's that power within versus, we know power over. Look, I think we're all like, thank you, we're done. I'm good. Thanks so much. We got the lesson a couple thousand years in. I think we got the power over. Power with, as you said, has a bit to do with who's around, but the empowered, the power within. And this is what's been so helpful. It's not that I have mastered it. I will say that working through the course and with you, what's been so helpful is the thoughts around when I feel disempowered have started to change. When I could go into victimhood, like you were saying, I'll start to get curious and look and see, wait a minute, what is this mirroring? If I know if I know this principle, what is this mirroring in me? And if we all take that on, that really changes the whole game, changes everything.
That question, how is this mirroring me? But there's two other questions that are really important for me. The other question is, how can I see it differently? And the third is, how does this get me closer to spirit? And so that changes a challenging, uncomfortable, unwanted situation into a gift of growth.
Yeah. Oh, I love. Okay, I'm going to say that again, and thank you to Pretty who wrote that. Thank you for writing it down. Yes. So, not only how is this mirroring me, you said, how can I see this differently? I love that. Which really, going back to for anyone joining now, miracle being a shift in perspective. That is part of the miracle principle. And then how can I see this like spirit? I love that. When you
How
said
can
that,
I how can I see this getting me closer to spirit?
getting closer to spirit, even
Right.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Even
everything, if you can see that everything that happens, and believe me, it's not easy. I just had emergency surgery that came out of the blue. And it's like, my first reaction was, why the hell did this happen to me? And then, laying in the hospital, I thought, wait a minute, how can I see this differently? And how will this get me closer to spirit? And I realized I needed time. I needed time to really go within because I had been so freaking busy and rushing around that this was a gift to me to get quiet. I meditated 2 to 3 hours a day, which I never would do otherwise. And I really gotten tremendous insight to what's coming next for me.
yeah. So, so powerful, Barbara. And I'm thinking for anyone watching now or at any point, those challenges, whether it's an emergency surgery that you had, it could be a breakup, it could be a job loss, it could be, I know I've been very open about talking about having, my daughter had some health challenges, and I have a bonus daughter with other challenges, being nonverbal and autistic. And I had a challenging day the other day, just the noise. It was school hadn't started yet. And I was thinking about this conversation. We talked about this before, and thinking about how can I see this differently? And
Mhm.
to me, sometimes I'll think about how can I see it through the eyes of spirit? Like, how can I see it as if my higher self spirit is like literally seeing through my eyes, not just the small self, the ego. And it was actually very helpful because I got quiet and I heard, this is part of your learning agenda. This is part of your learning. And as someone who loves to learn, I imagine anyone here, we love to learn. It's so funny, but that soothed everything. I was like, oh, this is part of my curriculum. Huh. I was seeing it as
Yeah.
outside of it. Yeah.
When you see that everything has a purpose,
Yeah.
everything has a purpose for your highest good, it changes everything. It changes how you address it. It changes how you work with it. It changes everything. It's how you create miracles. When you realize everything has a purpose, it shifts you from seeing through the eyes of fear to the eyes of love. I know I had one student who said, oh, it's just a matter of shifting your chin. Instead of looking through the eyes of fear, you just shift to look through love. I love that. I often just, oh yeah, I'm looking through love.
It's awesome. That's awesome. Sometimes I see it, I'm very visual. I'll see it like, I have my glasses and I'm like, oh, what would those glasses look like? They would be like a heart shape. They would be pink. Like, I'm going to pretend I'm looking through those. I should probably get them.
You should get them, definitely.
I know we should all get our love glasses. That's actually a really cute idea. But I love that. Like, turn this way. Like, you can just be that simple. What made you feel called to? I know you wrote Miracles Made Simple. You are going to be teaching this beautiful class on the awakening, a deep immersion into the Course in Miracles. What had you feel like now is the time to do this?
I fought it. I fought it a lot. It came about 2 years ago. I just got this kind of, how you feel drawn to something? It came from my heart. I just felt this kind of drawn to teach the course. And who am I to teach the course? Who am I? I'm not an expert. There's so many people that are more. I fought it for a year and I was really scared. And then I just got one day, it's time. It's time because the course says very clearly, anything you want to learn, teach it, because nobody learns more than the teacher. And even though I had been teaching the course for 43, studying the course for 43 years, there was still so much more depth to plumb in it. And I wanted to even go deeper. And so I screwed up the courage and I did it. And I loved it. I loved it. I had been kind of sneaking parts of the course into my books, and then my last two books, I was much more out there with it. And I don't know, I felt like this is my path. Like this is, and it's interesting because, so the course is a channel book. It was not written by a human author. It was scribed by a professor, a doctorate of psychology, Helen Schuckman. And the voice came to her, and the voice said it was Jesus. And now, Helen was a militant Jewish atheist. She did not believe in God. It was kind of a shock to her. But one day she asked, why are we doing this? And the voice, who's presumably Jesus, said, it's coming in for precisely the times we are in now. She told her that we are in a celestial speed up. This was in the 1960s. It came out, the book was published in 1975, but it was written for these times. That the world is will be becoming more and more tumultuous, more and more divisive, and the earth itself is raising its frequency, and we individually and collectively need to raise our frequency. And that is the purpose of the course, to deal with this celestial speed up. And I think knowing that, and seeing all the turmoil around us and me being sucked into it at times, I thought, I don't want to live with this turmoil. And I want to help others who aren't ready to live with it either. And there is things we can do. Because individually we can change our reality. Collectively, we can change our reality too. So the more of us that think in terms that see the world through the eyes of love rather than fear and hate and anger, it's going to change. I absolutely believe it's going to change the world.
Amen. And so it is. Yeah. Beautiful what you said. And, I'm really grateful for everyone who's with us now live and watching this at any time, because we are those people. We're them. You, me, anyone who's tuning in, you have chosen to be here at this time. And I love this reminder that we're going to see more turbulence, and there's a greater frequency that's shifting, and in each of us taking ownership of minding our mind and returning to love and putting on our love glasses, not bypassing, because I know you and I have talked about that, not bypassing. That was my old way of doing things. Being present and really learning how to this course is miraculous. It is the answer. And I love what you said, that this celestial speed up, this is written for these times. And I think that even the story of her, how she channeled this and dictated, is just incredible. I mean, I know it took years. This did not just happen in a day. This took a long time.
7 years of dictation. And she would take it to her office, and her partner, Bill Bedford, would type it up. 7 years, and then it came out.
Yeah. I have to say, as someone who studied with you, I remember thinking, when is Barbara going to teach this? Like, when are we going to do this? So for me, I'm like, yeah, of course. And, I know that this is something 43 plus years you've been studying it.
Julie, I think if it wasn't for you, I would have never taught this, because I remember being on your podcast and you talking about the Course in Miracles. And I had this strong feeling I wanted to help you with that. I just had this strong urge. And I think I even contacted you and said, I would like to help you understand the Course. Did I do that? I think I did. I think I reached out.
So I'm going to share this because this is really important for everyone. This is where, I talk a lot about intuition, which really is, in the course, it talks about your connection to, whether you call it your higher self, the Holy Spirit, the voice for God, right? Like, we all have this connection. When we did our first interview, and that was a couple years before that, I heard, after we finished, Barbara's going to mentor you. And I thought, that's crazy. I can't ask her. That's too much. I want everyone to hear this, because when do you get this inner knowing? And I was like, how the hell is that going to happen? She's got so much going on. She's a best-selling author. That's not going to happen. And I read your third book. I read one of your, you have many more than three, but I read Sacred Success. And I remember thinking, I've got to have you again because it had more on the course. And I was like, I need help studying this. I cannot do this myself. I just can't do it. And you came back on the course and I heard it again. And I made a comment to you after. I said, I'm
Oh, yeah.
stuck with the course. And you said, I sensed I need to help you. I mean, it was like the coolest kismet intuitive thing. And this is where, trusting our nudges and trusting, to me, that's allowing, right? Allowing us to be guided by a loving presence that's not the small self, the egoic self. And that changed my life because you've taught and worked and mentored, worked with and mentored me for the last few years, and it's been life-giving. So
So
that's so cool.
but it changed me too, because one of the course says, whatever you give, you'll give only to yourself, because theoretically there's no one out there. So my giving my experience with the course to you gave me the confidence to think, well, because I watched you, Julie, I watched you change, because some of these concepts are so radical, they're hard to believe. And the course says you don't have to believe them. You don't have to. You just have to be willing to practice them. That's all. And you were so willing, and you dove in so completely, and you would fight it, but you would always come around. You would always come around. You're so sharp, Joe. You would see things so quickly. And and I thought, wow, if I could do this for you, maybe I could do this for others. So it was what they call a win-win. That's a true definition of a miracle. We both got the love and the support we needed.
So cool. And I'm so excited. That's why when I heard your book and the course coming up, I was like, oh my God, we've got to talk about this. It's been a game changer for me. And I think it's important to say this is not a religion. The Course in Miracles is for anybody, any human who wants to engage in a spiritual mind training that literally is about living from love. You can be non-religion, atheist, religion, it doesn't matter. It complements anyone who's breathing and alive. If you have the desire, that's kind of how I look at it. It's for if you're called to it. It's kind of like Rumi's, what you seek seeks you. I really believe that with this course, with this book. I mean,
Yeah, I see it as a combination of neuroscience, quantum physics, psychology, and spirituality. And it is not religious at all. So if people, and many people who have come to my class, because I gave a class last year on the Course in Miracles, many people, they didn't believe in God. They had a hard time even saying the word God. It doesn't matter. If you believe in any kind of intelligence far greater than yourself, which I can't understand not believing in when you see this gorgeous world we're in, that's all you need to know. And it's really about trusting and shifting our own mindset. It's really about we are the creators. It's about how to create the life you crave to live.
beautiful. All right, we have a question. I'm going to say for all of our beautiful listeners, if you have a question for Barbara, you're cool with any questions that come in? You're ready to go?
Can you ask it live, or do you have to read it?
I'm going to show it up. I'll put it right here. So I have my book sitting here.
Okay, great question. Great question.
That is a great question.
It is totally intimidating.
Yes.
So I'll tell you where I think so I say it again, there are 3 books. The first is the text, which is the theoretical foundation of the course. And that to me is the hardest, most intimidating, densest part. Then there is what they call the workbook, which is the mind training portions. And it takes the theoretical text and it puts it into bite-sized pieces. So there's 365 lessons. So each day there is a lesson, and the lesson is like one affirmation and with an explanation. And you repeat that affirmation and you work and you focus on it for the day. And you do this 365 days in a row. And you literally reprogram your mind. So you have the theoretical text, the workbook, and then what's called the Manual for Teachers, which is supposedly for if you want to teach it. But the course says we are all teaching. We are teaching all the time. What do you want to teach? Whatever you share is what you are teaching. And so I would start with the workbook. I would start with a lesson a day because it really helps. It really starts, and it's very, very understandable. And the first 50 lessons are, oh my God, they're so good. And then if you want to read something, try reading the Manual for Teachers. I think it's easier to understand than the text. And then there is the text, which I have actually gone through and actually read many, many times, but still a lot of it escapes me. A lot of it I can't understand.
We're getting another question similar. That was beautiful. Brianna Marie said she bought the book for herself on her birthday. She's going to open it up, but she got the workbook. She got frustrated. And I think it's a very normal feeling. I mean, trust me, I had it for years, just looked at it. I was like, oh, maybe if I sleep with it, I'll get it through osmosis. But it's true. And one thing I'll just say for all of us, like type A+ people here, don't do more than one a day. This is not one, and you can speak more to this, because I remember my first thought was, oh yeah, I'm going to go take a weekend and I'm going to devour this thing. Oh, no. It's not how it works.
So the course has a line that took me forever to understand. Infinite patience leads to remarkable immediate results. Infinite patience leads to immediate results. And what that means is if you want to do it, all run it right away. If you get yourself uptight or crazy or tense, your mind's closed. If you just patiently plod through it, if you patiently read one lesson and let it absorb, and what I did is what I couldn't understand, I just let it go. And each time I went through it over the years, more and more would sink in, more and more I could feel my whole mindset shifting. It takes time. It takes patience, but it's so worth it.
Question for you, Barbara, and I don't see this, but something I know I've heard many times. First of all, yes, the patience itself, I think in a world that is so fast-paced, digital, we are like constantly being bombarded. To me, it's been very healing for my nervous system, actually, to do a lesson a day.
It's really, and for people who have experienced trauma, it's beautiful. I think that's what it did for me. The trauma of being married to a gambler and going to the bank and saying you have no money when I grew up wealthy was so traumatic, and feeling helpless and a victim. But it really changed all that.
Yeah. Beautiful. So what I hear often, patience, yes. And if anyone has questions, just put them right in the comment. I'm going to put them up and share them with Barbara. I want to ask you, I know how I've dealt with this. For some, it might not matter that the what's used is masculine, right? It's the wording that's used is masculine, but for some, it might feel exclusive or it might be triggering. What do you say to that? Because the language obviously is written.
So there were two parts of it that I had trouble with. There is not one female pronoun in the whole book, not one. And everything was Christian Jesus and Christian or language. I'm a nice Jewish girl. I had a hard time, but for some reason, and I was a feminist. I mean, this was, I would get, but what I did because of the course, I let that anger, that how dare they not use any feminine pronouns and ever, how dare they, it really got me in touch with my anger at men, my anger at the world. So I use that. The course says anytime you're triggered, use it, because the whole purpose is to bring up what is in your unconscious, your subconscious, what you're not aware of. Those are all things that are the blocks to love's presence, the blocks to your success. So if anytime you get triggered or anything about the book triggers you, I say, yeah, baby, go with it. Look and see what it's bringing up in you that you haven't addressed, you haven't acknowledged in yourself. So once I got past my triggered feelings about the pronouns they use in the Christian terminology, I had no problem. It was already the course calls itself. It's like a book to become a healed healer. So many of us are in the healing business, but we need to be healed ourselves in order to help heal others.
I love the answer to that, and it's funny because sometimes my husband and I still will do I always read one a day, and sometimes he and I will read it together. Every now and then, I'll read it with, like, pluralistic I'll add she, I'll add,
Yes.
children, and I've let myself just some days that feels better, and it's like, I think when the time it was dictated, for the most part, I mean, it's a little bit of a mirror of, that's what the language that's been used is
In the
is
60s,
masculine. Yeah.
that's when the whole women's lib movement started. That we were
Yeah.
very this we still couldn't get a credit card in our own name when this book was written.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, that's the sign of the times.
Exactly. One of the things that's helped me also is to remember this concept, and it talks a lot about the voice for God, the Holy Spirit, um, that none of this, God, it's not human. So I think it even says that somewhere. You may remember it's not human. So it uses these pronouns, but it also, to understand, look and see what it brings up. I love that you said that. And also remember, we're trying to put human characteristics on a force of love, a loving creator force that is not human. We are in that image. It is not of our image. I don't know. That's helped me a lot as well.
Whatever helps you get through it, because what you're going through, looking for is the wisdom that it provides you. It's magnificent wisdom that is found in many sacred texts, but for me, the course just puts it together in such a magnificent way.
Absolutely. And I'm seeing from Rose, I'll put it up here, started the teacher's manual now in the text. Yes, the text, and thank you for sharing that. Woo, it is. I have to do a page or two at a time maximum. I mean, I underlined, it's so funny. I was like, maybe I should underline what I don't want to underline, because the whole thing is like highlighted. The whole text. Yeah. What would you say about that, getting into the text part?
So I could show you, I have a basket this thick that I would go through it and I would write down a sentence that made sense. That's how I went through it. The first, like, I don't know, 10 years. I would keep going through the text and I would write down a sentence that made sense. And then I go through pages and then there was another sentence that made sense. And that's how but you have to find what works for you. And I was very proud of myself that I didn't get stuck on all the stuff that didn't make sense. I didn't make myself wrong. Oh, I probably did, but I didn't let it stop me for what I did. So whatever way works for you. You started with the manual for teachers. Beautiful. That's a beautiful portion of the book. And I would highly recommend, though, because the pedal hits the metal with the workbook lessons. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
would really recommend doing one lesson a day, no more than one. And if you want to take more than a day on it, that's fine, but never more than one a day.
Beautiful. We have a question, but before we do, so I asked my higher guidance, I said, I have my book here. And I said, just open to the page and let's see what we're at. What is so amazing about this one, when I think of you, Barbara, this is probably the one. There's like a bunch of them, but this is like the one that I think of with you. So it's lesson 28. Above all else, I want to see things differently.
I love that lesson. I love that lesson.
I know.
Well, I use it as a prayer.
Yeah.
Above all else, and that's a really good way to use the course. Just open it. If you have a problem, if you have a question,
Oh,
the course is very clear. Jesus says in the course, if you believe Jesus wrote it, ask anything. Ask us for everything. Helen asked where to find a winter coat. Nothing is too small. Ask. And a really helpful way is just what you just did. Open it, put your finger on it, and see what it says.
so beautiful. There's one more. See, this is what happens. I'm like, and the next one is so good. So 29, I just want to say this. This is really mirroring what we've been talking about, is just for people to get a sampler. Okay. 29, God is in everything I see. Like, I don't even know what else you need to say. It's so stunning. So
And
stunning.
God, according to the course, God is love. So if you have a hard time saying God or thinking God, Just say love. You can substitute the word love and love is in everything you see. And that's how, if you want to shift, because the Course, I'm going to bring something up just really quickly. The Course is all about, one of the central teachings of the Course is forgiveness. Because forgiveness, everything. Forgiveness, it says, is the key to happiness. Forgiveness is the key to healing. Forgiveness is the key to peace. And the whole purpose of the Course is to give us peace of mind and joy in our life. And so if we can start seeing everybody and forgiving, I know it's so hard to forgive, but if you can shift and see that person as created by Spirit, created by the divine, who is loving being just like yourself. You don't know what they've gone through. You don't know what they've been conditioned. And it's not about letting them off the hook. It's about you finding peace in your heart. It's from you going into peace, so you're not consumed with anger. And that changes your life. That changes your life. I actually forgave my husband, who lost so much of my money. He lost almost all my inheritance. And I got over $1 million of tax bills for all the illegal deals he got us in. And because of the Course, I was able to forgive him. And one of the reasons I was able to forgive him, because there is a line in the Course, and this was so powerful to me, so powerful. And I'd read it so many times, which is what happens with the Course. You read it, and suddenly it makes sense. And the line was, no one is doing this to you. You are doing it to yourself. Therefore, you have the power to change it. My husband was gambling my money away. He was the problem. I was the victim. And when I read that line, I realized, wait a minute. I gave him the keys to the kingdom. I let him make all the decisions. I let him manage the money. I gave him total freedom with him. And once I took responsibility, and I got out of victim, that's when things started really picking up. That's when things started changing. That's when, like, the veils lifted and I could understand words in a book that I couldn't see before.
Darn, that's good. We are getting in there. I love it. I see Pretty said hearing lots of similarities with the Bhagavad Gita. Yes. There is I'm going to put this up from Lisa. And Lisa, thank you. This is fantastic. She said that she's listening to a gentleman who studied, wondering why the history is so different than the traditional history of how she was brought up related to the Bible. Great question. Great to bring that up.
Because people have perverted history. People in power who have wanted to have power have perverted history. I don't want to say any more. But so much, remember, the Bible was written hundreds of years after the events that happened. And a lot of it was changed. A lot of it was not truth. It's kind of a contentious subject. But to me, the Course feels like real truth. It rings true to me. And there's a lot of similarities. With the Bible, a lot. And what's so interesting, there's two versions that I know of the Course in Miracles. There's the original version by the Foundation for Inner Peace. So Helen dictated this course. And then after she finished the dictation, she edited, and then 9 people in total edited it. They took out 45,000 words. There was a lot of personal information in there that Helen didn't want in. There were some things that they said that Helen was uncomfortable with. So they took out 45,000 words. About 5-6 years ago, 2018, 2017, Robert Perry, a scholar of A Course in Miracles, decided he and his team were going to put those 45,000 words back in. And he created the annotated version of A Course in Miracles. And it's by the Circle of Atonement, circleofa.com. And so I have both books, but if you don't have the book and you want to get it, and they have a free app of the book of the Course in Miracles, I would get the annotated version. It is fabulous. And what I love about it, so those of you who don't know where to start, in the annotated version, they have these series of cameos. I think there's like 20 something cameos. They're stories. Much of them are of Helen and Bill and how they applied the teaching of the Course to their life. So it really helps you understand, and it puts in so much stuff. And the reason I brought it up is because Robert Perry, who's a biblical scholar, he put in footnotes of where it coincides with the Bible. So if you're interested, it's fascinating.
Beautiful. That's such a great, I went on Amazon and picked the other one because I didn't know it. I'm like, oh, I need to get that one. And this could be helpful. That was a great question and point, Lisa. That might be a great thing for you to do, is get that version and see where it correlates. To me, what I love is reading through this now. This is, I guess, my third year. Cannot believe it. And I have not read through the whole text yet. I mean, I'm doing it in little bit by bit. The workbook, yes. However, it just go with how it feels. It feels true. It feels aligned. It's like, my understanding is it's everything without the fear. It's like I think of it like I'm being reminded daily. I mean, I was actually looking at, I'm just laughing because all of the workbook lessons are so frippling fantastic. One of the ones that I turn to, my mind is part of God's, I'm very holy. That I don't see that shown up a lot in many of the other texts in our now in some religions maybe, but I love this reminder that my mind is part of God's or the creator and I'm very holy. It's like reprogramming ourselves. You are divine. You are holy. You are, a piece of the master, a masterpiece. It's stunning.
That's what I love about the lessons. They're affirmations, but they give you guidance. Like every day for the past, I don't know, 6 months, there was one lesson. I forget what it was. I give my life to God to guide today. I judge nothing that occurs. I say that every morning. Every morning I wake up and I just think, okay, God, I give my life to you to guide today. I judge nothing that occurs. And then at night when I'm in bed, I think, okay, how did God do today? How did he guide my life today? And I just kind of review it. So it's just kind of words to live by.
Yeah. It's so powerful. I'm going to ask any questions from our beautiful community, questions or anything that you're kind of sitting with or curious about. You are so lucky and to have Barbara here, and make sure you check the description on YouTube because your free ebook, Miracles Made Simple, which I went through, is fantastic. Anything you write, it's so digestible and yummy. It always feels like dessert for me when I'm reading you.
Yeah, we wrote it so it's not at all in the language of the Course. Not at all. It is humorous, it's witty, it's not the style I'm used to writing. It was kind of hard at first. It's not really my style, but I wanted to make it completely different. And as you use the word digestible, easily digestible, like cream of wheat. It just goes down easy.
Love it. I love it. So, and it's free. And then there's also what you'll be teaching on the 17th is going to be the awakening, a deep immersion into the Course.
Actually, we have 2 versions. You can take it as a 2-month class,
Oh,
or you can have it as a digital self-paced course where you take it at your own pace.
beautiful. Beautiful. All right. I'm just having fun with this. I don't see questions. So I'm just having fun. I am like flipping and I love this lesson 108, which makes me think of whether it's the rosary or the mala beads, which are 108. Interesting. That's the number of beads that you have. There's more to that number. And this is a great one for all of us. To give and to receive are one in truth. This is what you were talking about earlier. Like each of them is a mic drop. I'm like, my God, that is fantastic. To give and to receive are one in truth.
And then it has an explanation afterwards. And then it often has a prayer. And then it sometimes has an exercise to do. So it really helps you absorb the lesson. You do this every day. My husband and I've been with him for 17 years. Every single morning, we do the Course lessons. And what we do, which is very interesting, is we used to just read them, but now we listen to someone reading them on YouTube. And I found someone 4 years ago. We've been following her ever since. Her name is Tina Louise Spalding, and she does channeling Jesus. She channels Jesus. And what she does is every day she gets on, she reads the lesson from the course, and then she says, let's see what Jesus says. And then she channels and Jesus explains what that lesson means. So I highly recommend channeling Jesus for the daily lesson.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I was for a while, I love her, still listen to her. I think she's incredible. I'll have to get her on here. I haven't interviewed her yet. Carol Howe is another one
Oh,
who's like
Carol's great. Carol's great.
15 years of studying with Bill Thetford, and it's HOWE. She also has a digestible. She's great too. Both of those. I actually listen to both often. I'll listen back to back. So listening, if you're more audio or that's easier to do, I love that you just said that, because it's really, there's no perfect way to do this. It's however you are called. So if it's listening, if it's reading, if it's both, it's all good. That's all good. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to read the little blessing on that 108. It's tiny. I thought this would be great. Just the little, if that's okay. I'm going to read this really quick because it's so the to give and to receive are one in truth. So it says, to give and to receive are one in truth. I will receive what I'm giving now. Then close your eyes and for 5 minutes or a few moments, think of what you would hold out to everyone to have it yours. You might, for instance, say, to everyone, I offer quietness. To everyone, I offer peace of mind. To everyone, I offer gentleness.
And how did that make you feel when you said that?
So, like, wonderful.
I know. There's magic in the words.
Yeah.
Of the course.
Absolutely. Such magic. Okay. Any other questions from our community? I'm going to pose it. You have time right now. There's a question or a comment or reflection. And if not, Barbara, what intuitively, maybe something I didn't ask you or something that's coming through you that you would like to share for our community to know?
Nothing's coming to me.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
Just love. Love is all there is. The more you can be in love, the more peace you'll have in your life, the more joy, the more magic.
Yeah. Beautiful. And so it is. Beautiful. I love how there's a heart.
Yeah, you see that? The lights, I put in new lights, see my overhead lights? I put in new lights, and when they turned it on, there was a heart. And I haven't changed it. I thought, yeah, this is spirit. This is spirit reminding me, stay in love, stay in love, stay in love.
Beautiful. There's really not anything else we need to say. That is it. I just want to thank you. I want to thank our beloved community listeners for being here. Lisa said, that's so cool. So appreciate that you have said yes. I want to remind everyone that Barbara was talking earlier about fighting the teaching of the course, and realizing, first of all, when you teach something, you get even more than you realize, and that we all have things we can teach and share. And I'm so grateful you are teaching this, because you have such wisdom, and I've been very grateful to benefit from that and to share that today. We'll have the link in the description for your free book. And then also you are teaching this beautiful, The Awakening, and I can add that as well. So if people want to look into that too. And we're getting a lot of thank yous, and yay, such beautiful energy. And just like you said, for everyone listening, try it. Decide, I'm going to try it one a day. See how you feel. Like you said, Barbara, when you read the words, listen to the words, notice how your body feels. It's going to tell you everything.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Julie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And we want to thank each of you for being here with us. We love you. So grateful you're here. May you have an experience incredible blessings and miracles. And remember to put on your love. We should all get them, our love glasses.
I love the pink hearts. Pink hearts, yes.
Pink hearts. I need pink hearts. I'm going to go look for that after. All right. Awesome. And I see, look what Pretty said. Spirit just showed me a billboard with love written on it while driving. Oh my, of course.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Pretty. you got a direct message to you. That's cool.
That is cool. And look how that just helped all of us, by the
It
way.
just gave me chills. I swear, that is so cool.
So cool.
Remember
I
how
know.
you always get messages when you're on the road. You always do.
Always. The other day I was like, Spirit, tell me, God, like what's my directive today? I'm feeling a little bit like, where do you want me? And all I see, I turn the corner of this huge truck. The only thing it says is service on it. I was like, okay, you want me to be of service? All right, I'm going to shift my whole way of being. This is what I'm here for. It was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. So when we listen, we ask, it's right there. Yeah.
Yeah. The course promise says, ask and ye shall receive. See, that's from the Bible too.
That is from yes. It's a great reminder. And we got to ask because we have free will. So may we all continue to ask and be prepared to receive. That's how it goes.
Yes.
Yay. Love and light to everyone. Barbara, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. From my heart to yours. So much love.
I love you, Julie. Thank you.
Love you. Mwah.